कई विषयों पर सच्चाई देश के सामने रखी है। अभी 25 दिसंबर को श्रद्धेय अटल जी की जन्म जयंती पर एक बार फिर मैं इस विषय पर देश भर के किसानों के साथ विस्तार से बात करने वाला हूं। उस दिन पीएम किसान सम्मान निधि की एक और किस्त करोड़ों किसानों के बैंक खातों में एक साथ ट्रांसफर की जाएगी। भारत का किसान बदलते समय के साथ चलने के लिए, आत्मनिर्भर भारत बनाने के लिए मेरे देश का किसान चल पड़ा है। नए संकल्पों के साथ नए रास्तों पर हम चलेंगे भी और यह देश सफल होगा, ये देश का किसान भी सफल होगा। इसी विश्वास के साथ मैं फिर एक बार मध्य प्रदेश सरकार का अभिनंदन करते हुए आज मध्य प्रदेश के लाखों लाखों किसानों के साथ मुझे अपनी बातें बताने का मौका मिला, इसके लिए सबका आभार व्यक्त करते हुए मैं फिर एक बार आप सबको बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी। मध्य प्रदेश के किसान आपके साथ है, पीछे खड़े, देश का किसान आपके साथ है और मैं आभार व्यक्त करता हूं आज लाखों लाख किसानों को गांव-गांव में, ब्लॉक मुख्यालयों पे, जिला मुख्यालयों पे और मंडी में आपने संबोधित और जो जाए वहीं से खड़े होके दोनों हाथ ऊपर उठा के तालियां बजा के नरेंद्र मोदी जी का अभिनंदन कीजिए, स्वागत कीजिए, वंदन कीजिए। हम आपके साथ खड़े, बोलिए भारत माता की। मोदी जी आगे बढ़ो, किसान कानून लागू करो, नरेंद्र मोदी जिंदाबाद, नरेंद्र मोदी जिंदाबाद, भारत माता की, नर्मदा मैया की, हर हर नर्मदे। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद माननीय मोदी जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
So let us quickly give you the high points of that one of the most aggressive and the biggest outreach by Prime Minister to the farmers of the nation, demolishing opposition's MSP lies point by point. There was a point-by-point rebuttal by Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, not only on MSP. Prime Minister also talked about APMC Act in great length. He also talked about contact farming practice and most importantly demolishing opposition's politicization and the way opposition has been fear-mongering on these pro-farm laws. Prime Minister also makes it very clear that the MSP will not go and also has assured farmers that MSP is not going to go. The MSP rates have increased only when the NDA came to power. In fact, Prime Minister talked at great length. Also, in fact, announced some of the major fertilizers plants. He talked about them as well, which is also seen as a massive infrastructure push when we talk about the agrarian policies in farm sector. Prime Minister also, in fact, not only talked about how the opposition has been fear-mongering and unnecessarily using farmers as vote banks. In fact, Prime Minister assured farmers that these laws are for them and for their benefits. He also assured them that these farm reforms were long pending, and these are the reforms that have been implemented by the present government. Not only exposing opposition's hypocrisy, but also its double speak, especially on these MSP and these farm laws and farm practices. Prime Minister talked about the fact that these were the laws and reforms that the opposition during their regime only talked about in their manifesto. Therefore, why are they now, in fact, spreading lies on these reforms, clearly stating that the opposition is rattled because it is Modi government which wants to implement these laws completely. Prime Minister has also, in fact, asked the opposition to stop lying to the farmers and stop creating more confusion. In fact, Prime Minister talked at great length as he was listing these pro-farmers schemes. He was addressing thousands and thousands of farmers through that virtual conference, which just concluded a while back. In fact, it almost lasted for 1 hour. He talked about these farm acts and this is also seen as the biggest outreach by the Prime Minister to the farmers of the nation at this juncture. Prime Minister, in fact, said that opposition should stop shooting from farmers' shoulders and should focus on the high points and the good points of these farm laws, APMC Act and much more. This is going to be our top focus in our subsequent bulletins as well. Meanwhile, let's take a short break. We'll wrap up this broadcast, but on the other side, we're also going to talk about the major takeaways of Prime Minister's address, which was in fact aired across more than 20,000 villages and panchayats across the country. Prime Minister also talked about the fact that these were the laws which were promised by the opposition in their manifestos, but the problem was the procurement. Opposition should explain why these these farm laws were not implemented during their regime, but only promised in their manifesto. Therefore, now when the Modi government wants to implement these pro-farmers laws, where is the problem? What is really the problem? Prime Minister, in fact, started in the first half of his outreach. He called farmers Annadata, remember? And then Prime Minister elaborated on these pro-farm laws, point by point rebuttal to the opposition's fear-mongering on the same. Prime Minister also talked about the benefits of the Kisan credit cards, 35 lakh being farmers, 35 lakh farmers given around 1,600 crore directly in their bank accounts. That was the first part of the Prime Minister's outreach, where he elaborated on these pro-farm schemes. This was a massive reach out on farm acts. Prime Minister also listed some of these important pro-farm policies. This, of course, is seen as the biggest outreach by Prime Minister. And just to wrap it up, remember the largest messaging here is that Prime Minister of the country demolishing the kind of fear-mongering and the kind of the political motives. For the political motives, the opposition has been using this entire narrative of MSP. And there you have the Prime Minister saying, making it very clear that MSP will not go. That is seen as a massive assurance going out to the farming community of the nation. And it's time to wrap up this edition of Midday Prime. On the other side, we'll get you more updates. Stay with us. Stay with DD News.
पक्की होगी बुनियादें तो हंसे हिंदुस्तान होगा। पहले करो शुरुआत करो, करो तो पक्की बात करो। पहले करो शुरुआत करो, करो तो पक्की।
वंडर सीमेंट, एक परफेक्ट शुरुआत।
ये अच्छे
समझ गए साहब? गुड, वेरी गुड। एक बार फिर करेंगे। भूकंप आते ही खुली जगह में जाओ, ना जा पाए तो पहले झुको,
सर को ढको, किसी चीज को मजबूती से पकड़ो या किसी कोने में सर ढककर खड़े हो जाओ। आप भी भूकंप से बचना सीखिए। तैयारी में है समझदारी। आपके हित में तत्पर एनडीए में।
9 to 5 जॉब, अरे 5 to 9 जॉब, भाग दौड़ ऑल द टाइम जॉब, द रोमिंग वाला जॉब, द डेडलाइन वाला जॉब, और आर यू लिविंग इन द मार्केट वाला जॉब।
जिंदगी में मौके ही मौके हैं। अपनी मर्जी से जॉब चुनिए, अपनी इच्छा अनुसार कमाइए, बन जाइए LIC एजेंट। ये है जॉब से बढ़कर, ये है करियर इंश्योरेंस। अपना बॉस खुद बनिए, बन जाइए LIC एजेंट। अब लाइफ सेट है।
The changing world of news. Headlines that you wake up to. News that shapes your day. Stories that matter to you. The latest and most accurate updates. A fresh start to a new day. The Breakfast News, Monday to Friday,